Hey, how we doing, guys?
Morning, everybody.
Joe here.
Kevin.
So last week we started off the episode talking about how Aaron Sorkin kind of writes women on the
Right.
show.
He takes more heat than I think he should based on this show.
Yeah, and we didn't have that prompted at all. Like,
Right.
we started the conversation that way, and it ended up being one of the most
A great women's episode.
fantastic episode, a really important episode too. CJ, huge standout.
Yeah, her performance in that was amazing. I mean,
I don't know.
Allison Janney's a great actress, but man, she really crushed that one. That was a standout for her.
I know she cleaned house at the Emmys a lot.
Right.
I don't know if she won for that episode.
I don't know.
But for her delivery of they're beating the women, that should have won the Emmy alone. Like,
that was haunting, wasn't it?
It was so good.
That was great. The writing was good. It was an episode that right. It goes without saying that it was an episode that dealt with a lot of moral gray area. Including human trafficking stuff.
That was tough. Yep.
That was tough, and it was like, these are tough issues.
Yeah, we can't talk about this. Yeah,
right. Whether or not to let the public know about a potential outbreak of mad cow disease.
Yeah,
good points to be made on all sides of all issues. Just a nice reminder that the world is a complicated place, and there's not always an easy answer for everything.
The mad cow thing is something that we really didn't go into. Right. Even on Patreon, you guys had a great discussion. I had a lot of great discussions with you guys last week over the episode in general, mostly over the trafficking and the prostitution, but still. Like we said, a lot of moral gray area. I mean, how do you talk about this? How do you decide this?
Yeah, how do you legislate it? You know what I mean on all of this stuff. How do you set policy and run a government with covering these issues? It's tough. Yeah,
it's a lot, is. You know. And do you think we're going to see Mary Louise Parker's character again?
I hope so. She really. I mean, Weeds was never my thing. Honestly, I watched a few episodes. And, I didn't get very far into it. I don't remember it at all. I remember not really because it's been forever.
I like Kevin Nealon on it.
But is Kevin Nealon on it? Yeah. Anyway, I like Kevin Nealon. I'm sure we're gonna get her again. Especially if we're getting more into these women issues. And Josh was flirting with her pretty hard, which historically hasn't meant much on this show. You can say the same about Marlee Matlin, but I feel like since Mandy was on the show's kind of looked for a romantic foil for Josh.
Yeah.
But only for him, right? I guess we've had a little bit with Sam too.
Sam's kind of a ladies' man.
He is, but it's been 2 seasons since we've had anything regarding dating when it comes to a woman?
Ironically enough, it was the escort, and then it was also
Leo's daughter.
But
it's been forever since that was a thing. I get these are busy people, but the idea that his love life has been completely on the back burner for at least a season.
Well, you know what's funny? Somebody told us how Mary Louise Parker ended up on the show.
Oh yeah,
she called up Aaron Sorkin and said, "I think Josh Lyman needs to get laid, and I'm the one to do it."
Yeah, I'm going to have to cut that out, but sure.
That's literally what she said to get on the show.
All right, I believe that. But it worked.
It worked.
So yes,
we're going to see her character.
Right. Apparently, we're going to see her again.
Yeah.
All right. We're welcome to Patreon subscribers for the weekend, guys. So Heidi Steele, Manuel Black, Kylie, Eduardo Modelo, Jamin Harris Kennedy, and JoJo. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. If you guys are watching this on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel.
Hello.
If you don't mind hitting the like button for us, leave us a comment down below. Tell us some more tidbits about the West Wing. And while you're at it, if you might hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the new content we've come your way.
Absolutely. If you'd like to see a full reaction to this and everything else we've watched or are watching, please check out the link in the description below to our Patreon page. On the West Wing, we are several episodes ahead over there. So if you'd like to get caught up and watch along with us, that's a really good way to do it. I recommend if you're someone who likes to binge this show, as I'm sure I will as soon as we're done with it, but watch along with us on Patreon, guys, all the way through. Have somebody to see it for the first time with it. It's a great show, obviously.
It's fantastic.
You'll have to sync and watch along with us on a different screen. We are, of course, watching on Max. Scarlet for America is the name of the episode, so we're probably getting heavy into the campaign now.
We need to.
So, listen, there were more threats.
7 churches in 5 Tennessee counties.
New threats were made in Tennessee this morning.
Mike Casper was just here. He's going to be with you today.
Good. There are ways to get the guy out of the room.
Hey, I'll keep my head here. You keep your head there, hmm?
No, Leon, no. It's because the guy's walking down the street and he falls into a hole, see?
Yeah.
They're waiting for us.
You want to go and get breakfast or something?
No.
Do you know her name?
I don't know her name, but she's very familiar.
She was the Mark Wahlberg's evil mother in Boogie Nights.
Yeah, okay.
Is there something you haven't told me?
There's lots of things I haven't told you, Jordan.
About today?
If you need to perjure yourself to protect me, you're gonna damn well do it.
Sir, this is a secure call.
Whatever it is Josh does, you're gonna let him do it.
I don't need Josh.
Yeah. How does she look to you?
Who?
Her. She's not doing anything tomorrow night.
What's tomorrow night?
It's Christmas Eve.
I've forgotten. You'd be talking to
There's a million fast food
You got
workers
about
and
1,000
retail workers
people
who
in
are
this
working.
building standing with you right now.
I solemnly swear that the testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Do you think we're going to see most of the characters have their?
I wouldn't think so, based on the show's pattern. In that, like when the president told Toby about the MS, that's really the only reaction we got. We left out all the other characters.
Sure.
It happened, but we didn't see it. I feel like kind of the same. There's probably some repetition to it that we're just going to skip.
We met for the first time about 32 years ago, but I would say our friendship began 11 years ago.
Mr. McGarry, it was you who first approached Jed Bartlett about running for president, is that right?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanningham. Thanks.
Oh, we're gonna see
Yes,
this.
sir.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's all for the schedule, but Leo McGarry is here and would like a minute.
Leo's here?
Mm-hmm.
Leo!
I've been thinking about getting back into politics.
Oh, this is where he asked him to
I
run.
think that's great, man. I think it's about time. There's no one I'd rather see in the Oval Office than you, but if you run, there's going to be a lot of discussion about Valium and alcohol.
Yeah.
I have been walking around in a kind of daze for 2 weeks.
He never mentioned his health.
That's cool.
No?
What a good friend.
During the first meeting in his office. If he had told you about his condition, would you still have thought it was a good idea that he run?
This is a dumb question.
Right?
It's a
Yeah.
hypothetical.
Mr. President, this is Special Agent Mike Casper, who's acting as the FBI's White House liaison during this situation.
Do we know what's going on, Agent Casper?
You do it without my consent, and it's a clear violation of states' rights. And you would have said the same thing when you were the governor of New Hampshire.
I know what happened at the third debate, he told me. I know what's going to happen this afternoon. What are you going to do?
I don't think you and I should discuss it, sir.
Yeah, probably not.
The president having a stroke falls within the scope of the 25th Amendment.
Excuse me, but with the Wilsons being dead for 80 years, I don't believe it falls within the scope of this hearing.
You should take a physical.
Absolutely. He's got 10 years on Horns. We should release a medical report.
They want me to take a physical. What's a physical right now going to show?
It'll, nothing.
I'll make my speeches, get whooped on Super Tuesday, and we'll all go home.
What's Gibson got?
Yeah.
You'll get a guy for me?
Thank you, Mr.
Can't help
Chairman.
it, but
and
all
I'd
I'm
like to
thinking about is the
compliment you
Parks
on
and
your
Rec
leadership of this committee.
hearing scenes.
That's funny.
With Jeremy
Yeah.
Jam. Yeah.
You're familiar, are you not, with,
I don't see how. No?
well, with the possibility that the president might die in office?
Hold it.
A great...
MS isn't fatal. And while on national television, it is criminal to imply otherwise in an offer to score some cheap points.
He's a talented
Senator.
fellow.
Last time we saw him, he had a great
I'd
scene.
like you to be the vice president. And
This
you'll
would be
back.
tough because he finds out right now, and it's like, wow, if that had been out there, I probably would have gotten the nomination.
A few years ago, I was diagnosed with a relapsing remitting
Yeah,
course
this is
of
tough to
MS.
find out in that moment.
Sorry. Multiple sclerosis.
That's supposed to be me accepting the nomination Thursday night. But I suppose you're trusting me is consolation prize enough.
I can't wait to see where this is going with Josh. There's a guy that he's trying to keep away from the hearings.
Yeah, let's see who it is.
I don't even know if it's a Republican or a Democrat.
Got it. What do you mean?
Gilbert Murdoch, a 17-year-old high school dropout, was pulled over outside Chattanooga for a failing left brake light. Thought he was being pulled over for planning to make a Molotov cocktail.
Why?
Because he was planning to make a Molotov cocktail.
Sir, the FBI is ready to call this a credible threat. We have one of the conspirators in custody.
Conspirators. Ed, you get to be a hero to the blacks in your state. Anybody in your state doesn't like it, the FBI is calling the shots. What could you do? It's not going to happen.
I think so.
It was a long shot anyway.
Is this the only time since the beginning of the campaign that he's collapsed?
He's got something big. It's not even just that.
I like the sunset in the background. That's really nice.
Anything about testimony from October 30th?
It's okay, I got it.
No, you don't got it.
We better go someplace and talk.
On the day of the final debate, I was meeting with 2 potential donors. The president was at the debate site walking the
he gets
stage.
drunk, doesn't he? That's what it is.
The
He gets
podium
drunk.
is a holy place for him. The way a glass feels in your hand, a good
He
glass,
drinks,
thick,
yeah.
with a heavy base.
You don't want to find out what a $30 sip of scotch tastes like?
I remember he even said himself, I can't have
That's
one drink,
what I
I'll have 10
remember.
drinks.
Who's the third person in the room?
Well, now we've arrived at our problem.
The person who knows it is
Whoa,
he's
you
the
want to be
information.
careful there.
You were drunk in front of Gibson?
I don't get drunk in front of people. I get drunk alone.
Something's wrong.
Governor?
Governor?
Sir?
Bring up.
Yeah.
You want to sit down? Let me get some water.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, stand there and watch him fall. So the guy brings up the collapse so he can turn around and say, "You were drunk, weren't you?" And that's all it is a shot at Leo, a cheap shot at Leo.
Yeah.
Leah.
I wonder if this is the last time.
Don't say anything. Well, we know he says something.
Oof.
Oh man.
On that day of all days, you could be so stupid.
That's
It's
because
like,
you
that's
think it has
harsh,
something
yeah.
to do with smart and stupid. In my case,
Ain't nothing but a family thing.
that's right.
Who knows?
Josh Lyman and the president. You relapse, it's not like that. Get away from me. That's what it's like.
Yes, I'd like to have dinner with you tonight.
Okay, so Leo is getting a girlfriend.
Hey.
These hearings are to investigate if any rules, ethical or otherwise, were broken by Jed Bartlett while he was running for president.
In the actual world, where the object of these hearings is to win.
No, it's not. This is why good people hate us. This, right here, this thing.
Yeah.
This isn't what these hearings are about. And if you proceed with this line of questioning, I will resign this committee and wait in the tall grass for you, Congressman.
I'm going to resume this after the holidays.
What?
He thought he was about to get ripped.
Chairman. Mr. Kelly.
Mr. McGarry, that concludes our questioning for...
And the chair wishes everyone a Merry Christmas.
Well. Yeah, 3 months.
And I love it because the GOP came in as heroes there overall. They did. I'm sorry if I'm picking on them, but they are trying to get rid of school lunches.
I know. I know.
Well. Dodged a bullet.
Oh, yeah.
For a moment.
I have a present for you.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really nice.
That is nice.
I was gonna cry.
Come on, man.
Oh, no, don't do this to me. Oh man.
Oh my God.
Just gonna destroy him like that and leave the room without a hug or Merry Christmas.
Right.
That was good. Don't be scared.
To be fair.
There's some Johnny.
Exactly. God, the writing on this show is amazing. I don't know who directed this episode. I didn't catch it.
Thomas Schwain. I don't know how to say his last name. He directs a lot of the episodes.
Does he? Okay. Man, he did those transitions
incredible
flawlessly.
Stuff,
and you were never confused about where you were time-wise.
No.
Which is always great, right? Like I've seen, you see like flashback sequences that are done poorly in film and television, to where you get like lost. Like this is convoluted as far as where we're at. This wasn't. This was, and they were quick cuts too.
They were.
Even in the quick cuts, you always knew exactly where you were. It was really well done.
The style of filmmaking for the show is very much old school. It's like 50s, 60s filmmaking.
For sure, absolutely.
A lot of those transitions. You see
a lot of Frank Capra. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
I get a lot of Frank Capra feel.
We've mentioned that a couple times.
Yeah,
it is very.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington kind of stuff,
which is fitting. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
There's a certain type of I can't talk today.
Idealization.
They romanticize about that era.
Sure.
That they're trying to carry over to the 90s.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, and speaking of this ideal presidency, I really like the fact that some of the heroic characters in this episode were Republicans.
They really were. I love
Cliff.
Cliff is awesome,
Cliff is great.
I would say that showed a lot of integrity.
It did.
That was incredible.
It really did, and he convinced the committee chairman to do the right thing there.
And we knew immediately as soon as we saw Gibson, we're like, okay, this guy.
Looked evil.
He looked like the bad guy from Raiders. You know what I mean?
He was perfectly cast and executed because just like the still shots of him, like sitting off to the side, we're like, that guy's a problem.
Well, the show also, like, when they introduce, the show doesn't really have villains, quote unquote, you know what I mean? But like anytime somebody's like a bad guy,
right?
They do a good job of framing them that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you can always tell before you know, and
right.
It's
show don't tell, and you can get that vibe from him right away.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I said, it's an idealized White House, it's an idealized government, and with an idealized government, you like to think that all sides can come together to be reasonable sometimes
in a perfect world,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how perfect that world was, because I got to tell you, I don't feel like the world we live in today could do that.
No, this is okay. So we've always talked about how the show stays very relevant. It's like subtle things that you just couldn't get away with today, right?
Right.
This is one of them. This is one of those episodes where you're like, better times.
For sure.
But if you look back on it, I mean, it probably wasn't this great back then.
I think you're right. That's a good point. Yeah. I bet even then people were watching it like, I wish this was how it worked.
The Bush administration.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
it's complicated.
It is complicated, and I mean, let's face it, with the Iraq War and the gay bashing that was going on,
which
really
I don't think that
exists
in this universe.
It doesn't seem to.
So that we were wondering about that because we talked about many of you guys told us about the 9/11 episode, the first episode, the Sons of Ishmael, and they never really addressed it. Like with the whole quote, Kumar,
yeah,
Kumar. It's a fictional nation, apparently.
Right. Oh, it is, yeah.
And no mention at all of the war in the Middle East. I don't know if they're going to do that in season 4, or if they're just going to ignore it completely.
Well, that's a good question because it would be season 4 probably because this season was several episodes into recording already. It was already planned out. So I mean, kind of rewriting the direction of the show mid-season.
Yeah.
Post 9/11 probably would have been a tall order, especially as intricate as these scripts are. I mean, we're not talking about rewriting an episode of Cheers here. We're talking about some really complex stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe in season 4, once we get through the election and the re-election, maybe in season 4 we really start dealing with that. The fact that there's a quagmire of a war in the Middle East, but then again, different president. Would Bartlett have made the same decision to invade Iraq on false pretenses? I don't think so. So I don't know how you handle that.
I think it's a definitive no.
Sure. So then do we just have the world without war didn't happen simply because Bartlett wouldn't have done it?
I think so.
I think you're right.
I think that's a more powerful message because we lived in a world where everyone was very critical of George Bush, rightfully so.
Right.
That's all everybody talked about when I was a kid.
Right.
You remember seeing it on TV.
The Dixie Chicks fighting Toby Keith and all that craziness.
I mean? It was such a big deal. Like, if you're really going to throw shade, but you're really going to hold somebody accountable, I think that's the way to do it.
Right.
You show them what to do, not like, wow.
That's probably true. That is probably exactly what they're going to do.
So I guess we'll see. We've got plenty of time before season 4. In the meantime, this season, I mean...
these are powerhouse episodes, man.
I know a lot of you guys said season 2 is the best.
I don't see a drop off here.
I don't see a drop of quality at all.
I don't either.
And I thought this episode was incredible. It was an amazing way to show somebody's addiction, too.
Yeah, it was. And I love how Leo explained it. You know what I mean? I like how the lawyer, and I can't remember her name on the show, but I like how she kind of is like, why would you be that stupid? And why he kind of explained, like, it's not about smart or dumb when it comes to addiction. It's not about that at all. Or willpower. It's not about that at all.
People don't understand addiction. I don't understand that at all because I feel like truly it's in all of us, not alcoholism, but just we have addictions to everything.
Yeah, addictive personalities is a pretty common thing.
We have the capacity.
Right? Sure, absolutely.
And I think that's in everybody, and it's just something people can regulate it better than others.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at the circumstance let's face it, it was a thing where Leo was supposed to be schmoozing donors, and they stick a very, very high quality glass of scotch in his face. Yeah, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a smoker and you've quit smoking, and someone says, "Here," it's hard to say not. Get that away from me. Yeah, exactly.
So this show has a lot of nuance, but at the same time, when it wants to be heavy-handed, it can be.
I'm okay with it,
but I love it.
I was gonna say I'm okay when it's heavy-handed. I get it.
As long as you stick
it's network TV. Yeah,
they always stick.
They stick the landing. They stick the landing on this one. Good. That napkin thing was genius. It was so well done.
It makes you feel good, then it brings you right back
down. It was a happy moment. Like, thank you for getting me here. I've not forgotten you, my friend.
He's his best friend.
I love it. All right, we'll catch you in the next one, guys. See ya.